This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Milind Deora is the Minister of State for Information, Technology, Communications and Shipping, MP from South Mumbai and a youth icon. I'm in conversation with him. Lots of fun here. You know, our phone lines were inundated with calls, in particular from Dadar Parsi colony, about the residents there being very, very perturbed by cell phone tower radiation. You yourself have gone on record saying, you know, sometimes the media tends to overhype incidents of cancer. So I want to, you to set the record straight as far as mobile phone radiation is concerned.
Well, I'm glad you raised that issue. I hope you'll give me a little time because it's
of course,
a little complicated.
of
but
course.
I'll try and simplify it as much as possible. I've been votary of more regulation to curb potentially harmful effects from cell phone towers and even cell phones for a long time. It's coincidental that about 2 years ago I became minister in the department that regulates that. Now, what has happened in India is we have about a teledensity rate in the country of about 78%. As in 78% of Indians have access to telephone services. Largely, we use mobile phones. There's so many millions and millions of mobile phone subscribers. You need a tower or an antenna, which you see on top of buildings and villages. You see a long tower to connect subscribers. Obviously, it means more cell phones in the market. Now, what the government has done starting in 2008 is we have adopted international norms to regulate radiation from these towers and from handsets. In 2012, in September, I had personally pushed within the ministry to make those regulations 10 times more stringent. So as of today, India has norms which regulate radiation which could be potentially harmful from mobile towers, which you see on rooftops and buildings, as well as handsets. And our regulations and our norms are about 10 times more stringent than what almost all of Europe follows, almost all of Asia, including some of the most developed telecom economies like South Korea and Japan follow. We are at par with what the United States and other countries in North America follow. So we have a good, strong regime in place. We are doing our level best to enforce it. There are certain gaps which we're filling each and every day. We do need the support of local municipalities, panchayats in rural areas. We've written to local state governments to ask them to support our initiative, because ultimately local municipalities will decide whether a tower can come up on this building or on another building. We are also conducting a nationwide study in India, because so far we've relied on data from WHO, which is what the world does. But we are one of the first countries in the world which will implement a study, an Indian-centric study, which has the Department of Telecommunications participating in it, the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, and the Ministry of Environment, Government of India, to study the impact not just on humans but on other species also. And we've got a gentleman named Dr. Ganguly, who was the head of the Indian Council of Medical Research, a very important medical research body, to head this study. And once this is complete, we will know for sure, hopefully we will have conclusive data available to us, which will confirm or deny how harmful these towers and handsets are to human beings, especially Indians. Because every country, based on the anatomy of different people, we may be more or less susceptible to radiation than Europeans might, because of our diet, because the amount of tissue fat that we have in our bodies, how much radiation we can take before it becomes harmful. So we are looking at this holistically, and we are doing our level best to regulate this. There are always activists who will try and sensationalize something. They'll say it's very dangerous. I'm not denying that they could be potentially dangerous, but we don't have the information to say for sure that it is. Nowhere in the world does that information exist. But we are going a step ahead to conduct this study. Once this study is complete, in the eventuality that India finds that radiation from towers is harmful to humans and other species, we will be proud to tell the world that our study was a benchmark for even the rest of the world to follow. So we are taking a lead in this because we are one of the countries that's adopted mobile telecommunications like no other country. And I would only like to assure the people through your channel that the government of India is doing its level best. It's important for people to put pressure on their municipal corporators, on the municipality of Mumbai in particular, to work with us to help regulate that. And it's also important for individual citizens who might be afraid of towers that are coming up near their residential areas, near their workplaces, to put pressure on their own building societies, not to allow those towers to come up sometime. Everyone has to do their bit to achieve success in this. The government of India is doing its bit through the Ministry of Communications and IT. Local governments, municipalities and panchayats need to do their bit. And ultimately, residents also have to do their bit to work within their societies and within themselves, because almost everyone has access to a cell phone. So everyone has to understand that the cell phone is emitting radiation. It could potentially be harmful if used for a long period of time. So for example, sleeping with a cell phone right near you, it's not advisable. Those are the things that even people have to do. They can't just expect government to regulate it and they continue with their lives. They have to partner with us to ensure that everyone is safe.
Last leg of conversation with Milind Deora, and we're going to be talking about his passion, which is music.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Milind Deora, the Minister of State for Communications and Information Technology and Shipping, is here with me, and he is the MP for South Mumbai. We've been talking cell phone radiation. We've been talking about his passion for seeing that kids get a football education that is equivalent to the best in the world, and a whole lot more. Now, the people who want to take part in your Google Hangout on the 6th at 7 o'clock in the evening, they can post questions right away. Where?
They can log on to oursay.in, which is oursay.in, and post any questions. Of course, the Google Plus Hangout format is that questions will be voted by the online community, and the best questions will be answered by me.
Mm-hmm. Music. Do you get enough time to pick up the guitar and play the blues often?
Not that often, I have to admit. Until a year ago, I had a little band of my own, a Delhi-based band, which was called Tightrope, which we named after a Stevie Ray Vaughan song, and I was proud of that blues band. It of course did cover songs, but bunch of very talented session musicians. And for the last year, unfortunately, we haven't jammed together, we haven't played a gig together. So now I just once in a while pick up the guitar and strum along. But even as a musician, even if you're not playing regularly, in some ways, even if I'm traveling, even if I'm in a meeting, I'm still playing the guitar in my mind. It's a complicated thing, but I guess a musician will understand that a musician doesn't always have to physically play an instrument, but you can be planning a chord structure, a sequence of chords in your mind. So in a sense, I'm always playing music in my head. I just don't get enough time to pick up a guitar and play it. And also musically, my taste, the music I'm listening to keeps changing every 3 months.
What are you listening to now, right now, for example?
So now I'm listening to a band like Metallica. And I used to love them back in the day when I was a student.
What a coincidence. We just had a Metallica tribute gig at the Hard Rock Cafe, 94.3 Radio 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a student in school, when the Black Album came out with their songs Enter Sandman and Nothing Else Matters, we would listen to that religiously. I mean, we had that tape, that time, the tape playing back to back. But I've suddenly gotten into them, and especially their older stuff, because I thought Metallica was just the Black Album.
And Justice for All, the Master of Puppets, all that stuff.
That was the MTV time, and they were just playing those videos back to back. Just like you thought Clapton was all about Tears in Heaven. And then when you go a little deeper into them, you understand that these people had 20, 30 years of a career before what MTV showed you. So I'm really enjoying what they have to offer. I've been fortunate to see them live a few times, to meet the band also. And I remember when I met the entire band in Bangalore when they played about a year and a half ago. I did talk to them about the fact that I grew up listening to their music, playing their stuff.
So what did Hetfield and Ulrich and Hammer?
Well, it was interesting to talk to them, because we spoke about, they were like, how were you exposed to it, and what was it like in India in the early 90s? And I was telling them that it was tough to get music here. There was this little store called Rhythm House in Mumbai, and we had MTV, and we really knew about Metallica through MTV. But it's after meeting them, seeing them live, that I've really, my respect for them as a band has really increased. And although I don't listen to heavy metal really, I actually don't see even a band like Metallica as a heavy metal band. I see them actually as a band like Allman Brothers. They have the same soul as an Allman Brothers has, which is a band that's perpetually on tour, on the road, that's actually very deeply rooted in a certain genre of music. And if you hear the Allman Brothers' Midnight Rider, and if you hear Metallica's Wherever I May Roam, the theme of both songs is actually the same. It's about a band sacrificing their lives and their soul to be on the road. Absolutely. And to be true and maintain their integrity for their fans.
And which was the last lovely holiday you took with your wife Pooja?
We were in the Northeast just last week actually. 2 weeks ago.
Lovely.
I had gone on some ministry work, but we managed to take a few days off. She's been pretty busy also. She's launched a large theme park outside Mumbai. So we both have very independent and very hectic careers.
So where was this in the Northeast? Where did you go to?
We went
Mizoram,
to
Manipur?
near Siliguri, near in West Bengal, the Chicken's Neck as they call it. But I love the Northeast. I haven't been to too many states in the Northeast. I've been to Meghalaya and to just a bit of Sikkim, but the Northeast is great. I mean, from the point of view of what 94.3 plays, the genre, they love this kind of music over there.
Thank you so much for your time. I had a wonderful time talking to you.
Thank you, Hrishi.